Queen Latifah, she did an interview about a year ago, and she made a comment saying that Tupac, he made the Humpty Dance. And you called me, man, and you wasn't too happy about her comments. If you don't mind, give me the backstory behind that dance. Who made it?
Well, first of all, I want to start out by saying that Queen Latifah is my sister. We love her. Like we were we were signed to the same label, Tommy Boy, right? So a lot of our tours and just our very first tour, which I'm going to bring up in this conversation, was with Queen Latifah. So we've known her since the beginning, and obviously her and Tupac became very close. But when I saw that comment, I didn't know if it was your page or hers. I was just like, I said it's a cute story or it's an amazing story, but it's absolutely untrue, right? So, and the reason that I did, because a lot of people, I see a lot of cats that just they have these amazing stories about Tupac that they fabricate a little bit, and I'm like, it didn't really happen like that. But it's not really hurting anybody. And if that's what if that's how they if that's how they making it, you feel me? I let them have it, because some of these things that people say that may not be all the way true, or they spend the day with Tupac and now they were best friends, or they did this and that. And so I let it slide. But the reason that I did address it then is because, you know, Latifah is so powerful, so, you know, trusted and loved within our culture. Her words carry a lot of weight. So when she says something, it's automatically, we believe it, right? And it becomes word. And I just think that that particular statement is a little damaging. And I'll give you an example. And I hope, Latifah, that you're hearing this so you can hear the example. It's like when Latifah came out, right? It's like if she had become the icon that she is, and maybe something happened to her where she couldn't speak for herself, right? And Tupac was still here, and Tupac is the icon that Latifah is, right? And he goes on and goes, yeah, Latifah she was my girl, and as a matter of fact, she was part of Native Tongue, and Q-Tip produced all of her original records, right? That's not true. But if Pac says it, it's believable because she was down with Native Tongue. It's damaging because it was really the 45 King who was producing that early music. And when someone with such a powerful voice says something, it becomes the word. Now, when the person that really did it tries to say, no, I did it, they call him a liar, or they say that that's not true. And maybe that person is trying to use that little bit of notoriety to make some moves. You know what I mean? And they can't, because everybody calls them a liar, because the one with the more prominent and powerful voice says it to be true when it's not. So when the person that does it is telling the truth, they're looked at like clowns. And shout out to 45 King. 45 King, he produced a Hard Knock Life for Jay-Z, right? When I first heard it, I just assumed that it was a DJ Premier beat, right? Imagine if Premier, loved 45 King for what he did with the Flavor Unit, but now somebody said he didn't do it, and that never happens. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
So that's the only reason why I was like, yo, I want to make sure that people know that that's not true. And, just for a quick sort of like a timeline, so anybody that has any doubts will be able to look it up. We recorded Sex Packets, the album that had the Humpty Dance, before we left on our first tour for Europe, which was our first tour in 1989, which that first show we were with Queen Latifah. We were performing the Humpty Dance because we knew when we got back to the States, the album was coming out, and we were promoting that record in 1989. Pop didn't join Digital Underground until, summer 1990, when we did our first tour with Big Daddy Kane, which Latifah was also on, right? So, and the dance was originally created by my brother Cullen, Mac Moan, who's another member family of Digital Underground and Raw Fusion, but the dance was inspired by the big earthquake we had in San Francisco Bay Area in October of 1989. And we were doing the Humpty Dance video a few weeks after that, which once again, Tupac wasn't in the group in 1989. So Cullen and Mac Moan, they came up with that dance in my mother's apartment living room, inspired by the earthquake, and Shock came in and helped refine it. And we did that the night before we shot the video for the Humpty Dance, which again, Tupac wasn't in the group at that time. So there's no way that he could possibly have created that dance. And I'm not even mad at Latifah for saying it because obviously she heard it from somewhere. I'm just interested in hearing who told her that because Pac was never the one to say he did something that he didn't. So I know he didn't just flat out say he did that because he didn't need to do that for attention or for any clout or anything. Because, you know, from the time that he got with us, everybody saw the talent. He was moving, he had his own movement. So he had no reason to say that. So maybe either she heard him say it, she misheard him say it. If he told her something, maybe he said that he was around when those guys were doing it because he was in another group called Strictly Dope at the time. So he was around us, but he wasn't in the group and he had nothing to do with the recording, the dance, or the video of of the Humpty Dance. Or maybe she just assumed it because Tupac was that great that he did so many great things that he did that great thing as well, but it's not true.